So my colleague who was unfortunately who was going to present with me today was unable to make it to this. So what you're really going to see is a little bit of I don't know if you've ever heard of PowerPoint karaoke, but it's what it is the idea of like you just given these slides that aren't yours and you have to kind of make up and talk and is going along. So you really these are not my slides, but I am very much part of this project and help put this together. And let's start. So what is kind of digital signage? It's literally the digital signs that are kind of surrounding it. So any remotely messaged digital display. So you see little signs outside the rooms. You see kind of across campus. You're seeing things that are telling you like directories of where people are. You see kind of a bus schedule of events. You and let's show some examples like this here this Jiffy Lube thing. These signs are becoming all across our lives, and they're becoming more and more. And as the price point of digital signage drops, we're just gonna kind of see it anymore, because a few years ago you wanted like a 34-inch flat screen. It would set you back like a couple thousand, and now like you could get a 70-inch and it's like $2? No, it's like but it's like $300, and for these massive screens, and I think people are just like they want to put them up everywhere. The problem is that for people who are staff and at Yale, it's like, oh my gosh, here is another thing that I'm going to be responsible for. It's number 11. Here comes a new system that I have to kind of care about. Is it up to date? What's going on? Now, so I'm making the argument that what we should do is we shouldn't learn a brand new system for digital signage. We should take some of the existing systems that we have already and use that to kind of manage that signage. And because really, if you look at it, what we're doing is we're displaying text, we're displaying images on a sign. I'm already, with respect to the web and with respect to Yale sites, I'm already doing that for your phone. I'm already doing that on various types of screens. I'm doing it on the tablet. So let's kind of take a look and let's just throw up let's just power what we're using for the web, and let's power digital signage through it. So if you were in some of the lectures that happened earlier in the conference, Jody Hamilton, when she spoke yesterday, she kind of spoke about how we need to kind of, she used this metaphor that that what we call all these different, like all the different computer systems, she put them like CMS, CMR, ERPs. She said they're really like, we should be thinking of them as different like breeds of dogs, not like different like species of things, because we're all kind of handling content and web. So when we look at digital signage, this is another case where we don't need to have kind of a custom bespoke answer. So this system cannot be like just throwing your web page up on that sign, right? That's not the option. And some people are doing it. If you look across campus, it's just like, well, I'll just put my department's homepage up, and that's good. And that's an entirely wrong approach, because that's not how people are thinking about signs or use signs. Like when you think when you walk by it, it's a whole different experience, different user experience. So we need to have a different approach. So what is the approach that we take? So we want to take a content first approach, and that's so when we're looking at Drupal, when we're thinking about Drupal, we want to. I'm again using the initial metaphor that I began in the conference with, saying we want to get rid of that physical space. Like, it's not a web page, it's not like a web page and the website imply this physical thing. We need to think kind of digital. Carrying that over is that thinking about kind of the content first, thinking about kind of the structured data. So I want to, when we think about Drupal and digital signage, we're gonna talk about thinking about the content of the first element, and then we want it to be simple, right? We don't want it to we don't want the, and this is coming from the administrative aspect of the website. We don't want people to, when they're creating systems, to have it be hard, and in general, and just so you know where my roadmap is with Yale Sites and what we're doing for the web here at Yale, is really want to focus in the next coming years of making it much easier to administrator and build your website, making that kind of experience very much friendly. If you look at the competing products and what the landscape is now for digital signage right now, there's like for example, a popular one is Rise Vision. Is anybody here using Rise Vision? Right? Okay. It sucks, right? Like, it's like really, I don't know how to, like, it's like, I originally started like saying, okay, let's figure out how to kind of like pull in and display on Rise Vision, and like you have to like create these like little widgets, and you have to kind of move them over in the corner, and the layout, and it breaks, and then if you want to have a new thing, it doesn't, but then it says, oh, we could have a time calendar, and it's just a hot mess, right? So the other thing that I want to have is I don't want to have like another custom application that somebody has to download, or a custom app to kind of power whatever their signage is. So I think the advantage of having a Drupal-based approach and a Yale Sites-based approach is that it's going to be the same interface, that we're going to be able to hit it through the browser. And again, like with 4Kitchens, what they were talking about with VR, there's something really powerful about having your software and having your things powered through your website, through websites. So that would mean that anybody who has their laptop open or has access to their phone would be able to point to the browser, kind of log in and change the digital signage, and not worry about it's tied down to a kind of particular kind of set of software or a particular machine, right? Okay, so how this all like kind of got kicked off and done in earnest is the Department of African American Studies came to ITS and it trickled down to me saying, hey, we have this really beautiful screen and we like don't know what to do with it. Like we're setting up like a PowerPoint like slide deck and have it kind of run in through rotations. And I'm not judging, because prior to using at Yale, when I was at the School of Forward Service at Georgetown University, that's exactly what I did, right? I just created a slide deck and I put it kind of in rotation, and I kind of moved it all around. Right, and the trouble with that is if you take that approach, if you take like this I'm just going to run PowerPoint, like when Windows needs an update, you get that kind of like Windows box, and it looks, or sometimes it just closes, and then you're and I think we've all seen it in the digital signage departments. Like all of a sudden, it's like, why is somebody's desktop being projected like on like in the hallway? And it's because they were probably like trying to do digital signage through a PowerPoint slide, and like PowerPoint is just not made to do that. we're currently where we are is we're still kind of in the process of piloting this program. I'll show you in a little bit. But if anybody here is kind of interested in this, we have the code far enough along that I'm completely open to kind of extending and enabling if you currently have a Yale sites about adding this kind of features and functionalities to it. So again, that they were previously running Keynote presentation there, and they wanted to be able to manage the slides in a similar way to how they had add events to the calendar. And so let me just show you, like, real quick what we ended up powering through. And see, again, it's browser based, right? So we're able to kind of show, we're kind of able to power. Let me see if I can kind of get this going. What we're able to do is we're able to kind of create something that like kind of looks like this. And let me go back to the slide as there. Okay. So how would you enter a content like that? Like, how do you do that? And and people are familiar with the kind of the Drupal interface. It's built in it's the kind of the same way, and we just are essentially creating a new front end for that same kind of structured content that we already have. So we could have a title, we could have an image, we could have the body, and then what ends up happening, and I apologize for if everybody emails me, I'll send you a more like kind of descriptive link of the slideshow that we have here. But what ends up happening is that you could have different sections, and then there could be a logic kind of built in to the slideshow itself that shows you different variations and different layouts based upon what you're trying to do. So we know like kind of what an event should kind of look like, and therefore it says, okay, you're entering an event. We are going to kind of give you the kind of the event layout. And then what you could end up doing there is then you could just you end up with a kind of series of pieces of content, like in much the same way that you would have different kind of news articles or people content types. You kind of enter in, and you kind of have all these different slides, right? And then you're kind of able to kind of reorganize it and reshuffle it. And the great thing is that this is already in. If you're familiar with Drupal, you're not like having to learn kind of a whole new system. You're already using the same kind of you're using the same system, which makes it kind of easier. So let's nerd out like really kind of about how we're building this out from like a kind of a technical perspective. So we have the Drupal 7, we have the Yale sites, and what it does is it's kind of it's sending out kind of a RESTful kind of API. So if you're hearing more and more talks about like kind of an API first approach, this content first approach that we have, this RESTful endpoints, and what we're doing is kind of the same thing. Is we're taking what we have as content and we're kind of like moving it in an XML feed, and then we have a kind of front end framework which has the JavaScript, and it's kind of in the reveal, and it says, okay, like just render it in all these different formats or ways, depending upon what kind of is the structure in the XML feed. So this is the roadmap for how we kind of want to do it. And what I would want to have is a system where all the different, it didn't matter what Yale site you had or what system your own individual department would have, we would be able to kind of, you would be able to enter in your content and it would automatically feed into another version, a dedicated Yale site that was only devoted to digital signage. And we believe that this architecture will work. But what I think what would be very good about this approach is I don't even want people to have to enter in a different like news event, like if they want to display. I want to have like the one piece of content they're creating for the news, or the one piece of content they're creating for the event, and have that kind of automatically move into the signage section. And then what we could do is we could have a master list, and then you could kind of just set up feeds all over, and we could have like OPAC could have a definitive list of all the different what all the different signs are in kind of the university. And because it's a huge big problem across the university is that there is no absolute coherence or logic, or I think this is what keeps John Gamble up at night, right? There's no like consistent visual identity to anything that is going on with the digital signage. And digital signs are, because they're so powerful in the lights, they kind of like outweigh and distract everything. So having something that's a little bit more centrally controlled right here might be kind of helpful, and will also one of the important things about digital signage is in case that there is some sort of emergency and OPAC wants to do a central kind of takeover of all the different screens on campus, this would provide a platform for allowing us would provide a big platform for allowing us to kind of move that way forward. So really. So this is kind of this is where we're at right now. I need advice, and I need like people to help build this along with me. The math department is signed up for it because they have a lot of seminars, and we want to build that. So anybody who's interested or has any ideas, I would like to use this kind of moment to kind of like to sign you all up and build it together.